Hey everybody, it's Kelli G in the Craftique Studio. Welcome in and happy World Card Making Day. World Card Making Day is the first Saturday in October, and this time we're celebrating with something very special. We're going to be making 3 cards today that were inspired by an exclusive set for World Card Making Day. So I'll give you a sneak peek as to what we'll be making. This is card number 1. With a little fall feel. This is card number 2. Beautiful. Could be like a wedding card, right? And card number 3. Just beautiful. So if you'd like to learn how we made these cards, please join me in the Craftique Studio. For our projects today, we will be using these 3 die sets as the main component of our creations. And so these are the Happy Fall Sentiments, Fall Florals, and Floral Devotion sets by Spellbinders. These were created exclusively for smaller retailers like Craftique, so we would have something special to offer you for World Craft Making Day. So thank you, Spellbinders, for that. Now, you can't get these in the Spellbinders shop or in the larger shops. They're only available in smaller retailers. I hope that you were able to get them. I believe at this point we're sold out. They went really quickly. These 2 sets here were available for purchase, and then the Floral Devotion was a free gift that was included when you purchased at least one of these sets and then $45 worth in your cart. So thank you so much for your purchases of those. Now, if you don't have these, fear not, you still can participate. All you would need to do is go into your stash and grab some type of word dies, maybe with shadows, and then some type of floral dies in terms of little pieces that you can die cut and then arrange together to make some other fun creations. So I will also put some recommendations of other items in the shop that we have that could also work that you can choose from as well. Along with these 3 sets, Spellbinders also provided a beautiful inspiration sheet to give you some ideas of some projects that you'll make. And we're going to use actually this sheet to make our projects today. Now, again, you might not have all of these different dies and different embossing folders and things, but that's okay. This is purely for inspiration, and we're not going to use exactly all of these pieces either. We're going to be using some other things from my stash that I pulled together to make the project. So it'll be a nice way to see how you can use all of the things that you have in your stash. The colors don't have to look exactly the same as the inspiration piece. It's purely for inspiration only. There is a list of some of the items that were used here, and we do have some of these items in our store as well. And then I'll show you kind of the materials that I'm going to be using today, which are all in the store too. So let's get started with our first card, which is going to be something similar to this Hello card. One step you're going to want to take before you start making any cards is to do some die cutting. And as you can see from these sets, you have 18 cutting dies here in Fall Florals. And look at all these beautiful pieces that you can make. You also have 9 pieces in this Fall Floral Devotion set with some really pretty blossoms, some stems, etc. So what you want to do is just make a whole bunch of different cutouts so that you'll have some items to pick from. Now, I like to use a couple of tools when I'm cutting at this level. One, you want to grab in your stash some scrap paper. If you take a look at some of these different pieces and kind of get a sense of what colors you want, if you're going for more of a fall palette, you might want to just grab a bunch of papers in your stash that have those type of tones. You definitely want something green, perhaps, if you wanted to do that for the leaves. I have some browns in my stash, along with some greens, and some orange for that pumpkin. So these will be some of the pieces that I'll be using. Another thing you want to consider is using pattern paper. It doesn't have to necessarily be solid paper that you'll use for these. I can see this pumpkin really being pretty in an orange type of pattern paper. So there's a lot of ways that you can creatively use your scraps, whether they be pattern paper, solid paper, or otherwise, to make something really special. We do have some mixed paper packs in our store. So there's a couple of 8.5 by 11 packs that we have, and it doesn't have to necessarily be Christmas themed in order for you to use them. It just means that there's going to be like a winter palette. So if you can see the papers here, the different colors, you have like reds and you have greens. There's actually some silver that you can use for the shadow dye. And then this one is called Happy Day Assorted Pack. And as you can see here, it has a rainbow of flavors, thinking Skittles, a rainbow of colors here. So you'll see some yellows, some greens, some purples, plenty of vibrant colors that you can use in your project as well. One thing I might be playing with these cards is a paper pack. And this is the Ulta New Dreamy Sunset paper pack. And look at these colors. There's like a lot of really warm tones in here. And although it has distinct patterns and distinct like etchings in it and stuff, you can see how this might be really cool maybe to use with the word dyes. So that's an idea as well. So just, look around and see what kind of paper you have and get those together. And you want to start die cutting. I would just cut out a whole bunch of different options, different leaves, different pumpkins, different colored flowers, all types of different things so that you have a lot to choose from when it's time to create your cards. Now, the other thing that's essential when you're doing this much die cutting, well, there's actually two more things. One of them is a craft stacks box. And these craft stacks are amazing. They come in sets of 2 boxes, and this is, I think, the small. And then it's either small or the medium. I think this is small. And there's like a combo pack where you can get a small and a medium, and then you have just small, that type of thing. But if you look at it, they come with 2 trays. They fit like a deeper tray and a lid, so you can have it that way. And if you cut a whole bunch of pieces, you can just close the lid and you'll have them there and they won't get all over the place. But when you're ready to create, you will also have 2 surfaces. You'll have the shallow tray, which does have a lip, so that your pieces won't fly off the table, and then the deeper piece as well. So as I'm cutting, I'm actually going to be sorting my pieces out here in piles. And as you'll see, there'll be like maybe all the one color here, maybe leaves on one side, that type of thing. So the last thing I wanted to show you in terms of cutting would be the tool we're going to use. Now, you might have heard about the Platinum Scout, and it's so cute. This is my white Scout, and this is like the basic color. But in the shop, we actually have an exclusive color. It's an exclusive blue. And I didn't bring the box up here with me, but it's an exclusive blue pattern that is on the face of the door, and it's like a pretty floral, and it's only available through small retailers like Craftique. You won't find it anywhere else. Spellbinders has stopped making them as far as I know. So once we sell out of what we have in stock, that's going to be it. So it's even more of an exclusive option for you. But anyway, the Platinum Scout is a mini machine. It's small but mighty. It has a very long bed here, and it has very long plates, long and narrow. So as you can see, if you take a bunch of these different dies and then lay them all the way down this cutting plate, you'll get a lot done in one swoop. Before I run them through the Scout cutting machine, I just wanted to show you how much you can actually line up in this one cutting plate. So as you can see, I have 5 different colors here of paper. I selected a bunch of different dies, some of which will be cut in the same color, and that will all fit very neatly on this one plate. So once I run this through, I'll have a whole bunch of designs cut out really quickly. And you can just do that maybe with 3 passes. You'll get a whole bunch of materials to work with. Okay, I cut out a bunch of the fall florals, and I think I'm gonna go with like a fall pumpkin-y, sunflowery theme because I'm just loving all of these different pieces. So I just cut out a bunch of different things in those 4 basic colors. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 basic colors or so. I added a little bit of craft. And as you can see, if you just use the same color palette, you can just cut out different pieces and they all coordinate together. Now, if you wanted a couple of guidelines as to like what colors to make the pieces or things like that, you can use the handy guide that they give you with the package. And that helped me as well to kind of figure out what colors I wanted to make some of these pieces. So after I cut them out, the next thing I'm going to do is start to piece things together. For example, you have the sunflower here that's a layered, two level layered piece, and then you have like the two pieces that sit on top, and then the little berries or blossoms or whatever you want to call them that stick out from the branches of the different pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those on. Okay, so for this piece, it has a lot of white on white in terms of the monochromatic texture, which I really like as an effect. And then it has like a little circle here that kind of gives like a little vase effect. And then it has the word hello as a die. I'm going to kind of use that as loose inspiration, but I really want to play out the texture part with the monochromatic look. And so I decided to actually use this Simon Hurley cutting die. It's called Zigzag Chevron, and it's really cool because you can do it, you can cut into two different patterns and actually create two different looks with it. But I just wanted to use it for one of the looks. And this is a huge A2 background size die. And then it comes with another piece that actually cuts out this one particular panel. So I did cut that out in the craft because that's what I'm going to use as my card base, as you can see here. And all the pieces do come out, but I actually left some in. I intentionally did not poke them out because I wanted to create this really cool layered effect. I think that's what I'm going for anyway. But if you look how this is, when I put this on top, it gives it such a texture that I really, really like. And I kind of love the fact that there's some pieces missing and that they're randomly missing because it just gives it some more interest. Now, I did save some of the pieces that came out, and I can easily use some foam tape and then like pop a couple pieces up, either like funky like that, or try to match them in the spots where they go and then pop them up as three-dimensional. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but of course what I want to do first is lay out the rest of the design and then go from there. So I glued all of the pieces together, and as you can see, it's quite a nice array that I have to choose from. And then of course you want to make sure you're thinking about the sentiment. And for the sentiment, I'm thinking about one of these. This is the Hello Smile set. And then this comes with a shadow die for the hello and for the smile. And I think the hello would be really cool to use. So I'm going to put that to the side and then make sure that I, make allowances for that in my layout. So what you want to do when you're starting with a layout is you want to put in your larger pieces first and then kind of layer the smaller pieces around it. And again, you can use this as a guide and kind of mix and match these pieces as well. So I like this pumpkin, and I'm thinking that my sentiment might go like right over here. So if that were the case, and I'm just using it as a placeholder, I would want to build my design around it. So I'm thinking like something like this. And then of course the sunflower, I might even tuck it underneath, like overlap it with the word hello, which I like to do. And you want to spread out the color so that it's not all, stacked in one spot. And you can kind of alternate the colors back and forth. So I might want to use a little pumpkin here. And keeping in mind, of course, that the hello will be on the bottom. And I'll stick this here. This is kind of fun. By the way, I had so much fun cutting these things out. I don't know what it is. It's just like really cool to see it all come together, like when you pull the pieces out, and then you can get like really excited by all the colors and all the designs and the possibilities there. So if I put this green here, I'm going to cut that color with something else in the middle, maybe some leaves, a brown leaf. So you can just keep playing around and rearranging to your heart's content until you find something that you're satisfied with. And that one's there. And this is why also you want to have a bunch of different colors cut out so you have different options to use. Kind of like maybe this one better because it brings the orange up there. And I don't know. So yeah, I'm going to keep playing with this until I find a design that I'm committed to. And then I'll attach the pieces from there. So you get the idea of just playing around with it. And as you can see, I want all the attention kind of focused in the middle because you have all of these other dimensional pieces here that will decorate the rest of the card, and maybe even having like a falling leaf over in this corner. I think I like that. And then you'll have some open space later on to go back and add these elements just to give it more interest if you wanted to. So I think I'm going to do something like that. I really like this. It just makes it different. Gives it some movement too. Okay, so I'm going to play around with this, oops, and come back and then also cut out the shadow and the word hello so that we can play with that too. And after all that, here we are. I have to still glue this down. I think I like it that way, but you can see how I just kind of just started in the middle like we talked about, and then just spread it from there, and then spread out the color, the yellow, kind of in a triangular pattern. Keep the oranges together because they're larger pieces, and then had a little leaf on the side for effect. I actually took one of the pieces that came off and then attached it upside down to give it a little bit more dimension, and it almost looked like an underscore or a divide of the panel too. I really love this. So that's my finished project. And I used the red paper from the Desert Sunset pack and then just die cut the letters out with the brown background. And you can see how that comes together really nicely. And you can see a little bit of the color in that paper, just a little, just enough to give it a little bit of interest too. So that is card number 1. For cards 2 and 3, I'm going to change it up a little bit and use the Floral Devotion set for both of those cards. And as you can see, I'm taking inspiration from the designs that are in the sample sheet here, where they're using all of these florals. And I love this piece here because it has dimension. It has like a whole bunch of flowers inside. It almost looks like a shaker card, but not a shaker card. And if I get a little closer, you can kind of see that there's texture on this card. This is the Peppermint Stripe embossing folder. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. That gives it the texture. And then the cutout is a nested die set, which is called the Fresh Pick Labels and Tag Dies. So you can use anything you have, basically, right? Because it's a white on white. You just want to emboss some type of a design or pattern into it. And then you just want to use some type of a shape to cut out the middle and then leave that window open. And we're going to layer these pieces on top. So I'm going to do it a little bit differently. And I'm going to be using for both of these actually the same nested die set. As you can see here in card number 3, it creates like a fake frame pattern by using some of the pieces of this particular set. And this one is called the Layered Postage Edge Labels and Tag Dies. I'm not sure if we have that in the shop, but we definitely have a couple of other different tag and die sets. And basically it means that you have different levels of the dies, and then in the middle there is a tag. So I'm going to show you the Emerald Emerald Cut Labels and Tag set. Now, I've already taped some of these to some paper to kind of start cutting out some of the designs, and we'll go from there, but I'll show you that more as we get into it. And then for the texture on this page, I actually used Altenew Organic Linen 3D embossing folder. I just love this texture. It's just so different, but so generic at the same time, and it just gives that warm kind of feel to it. So if you see here, I actually cut out or embossed a piece of white cardstock, and it just gives that really nice depth of pattern. So I'll be using that. So what I'll also be doing is cutting out a bunch of the different flowers, and I wanted to go with a really fun color palette. So I'm actually going to be using these two sheets from the Meadow collection. And I'm not sure of the colors that these two are, but they're in that collection. And I think it is light teal and dark teal. That makes the most sense. So I thought these would be really pretty. And I'm going to cut out some in white too, because I like the way that the white kind of, you know, points back to the white background and just grounds it a little bit more as well. All right, so I'm going to cut these out and then I'll be back. Okay, so I did a lot of die cutting with those two colors, the dark teal and the light teal, and then I added some white as well. So I just think this is just a beautiful palette. It almost gives me a beachy vibe, but I love this. So I'm going to use these flowers for cards 2 and 3. And then for card 3, which is this one here, I'm going to use the thanks sentiment from the holiday or happy fall sentiments. And I cut out that in white. Look how pretty that is. It's just a beautiful script and it's nice and thin. So I'm going to use that. And then to ground it, they have like a little flag type of banner. I was going to use this emerald set and then just cut out one of the smaller pieces. So I cut out this small piece and then the tag, which is the smallest piece, just to get a sense of what I think would work best. And I kind of like this one, but then you can see this one is nice too. So I think it depends on how the look comes together as to what I'm going to choose. So that I'm going to set aside. And then for card number 2, like I mentioned before, I'm going to be using the 3D organic linen for the background here. And I'm going to cut a shape inside. And I'm thinking I'm going to use this shape here. I don't want to use the shape that has all of the etching around it because there's so much texture in the design as is. I don't want to ruin it. So I'm going to center this. And remember, this is going to be a cutout, so you want it to be aligned properly. And tape that down. I'm going to cut it out. I'll just do that in real time here. It won't take that long. I hope you're enjoying this video so far and that you're inspired to create, whether you're doing it with me and stopping and pausing and unpausing, or just watching for now and then designing later, crafting later. Let me know in the comments what you like. I would really love to hear from you. All right, so that's the inside piece, which we can save and use for something else. And then take the tape off of this piece. And we now have our textured frame, if you will. Okay, so with this card, I'm going to get a card base. And then this is going to pop up on top of it with some 3D foam tape. And then I can put all of the flowers on the inside and just place them in. So the first thing I have to do is actually glue them all together because there's multiple pieces and dimensions. So you have your large piece, which, you know, you can make this dark teal, and then you put in a smaller piece, say light teal, and then you layer on top a center, which could be white or the dark teal again. I think I like the white in the middle. Look how pretty that is. So I have to glue a bunch of those together and mix and match the different patterns and colors to then fill them up inside here. The other thing I want to cut out now would be these frame pieces here to use for card number 3. And I've already outline these and lay them out and tape them. I'm going to cut that in real time so that you can see what that looks like. And I like that we're doing 2 at a time in a way because it saves on time. And if you wanted to make more than 1 card, mass producing them could be a cinch. You can make, you know, 2 of these cards and then 2 of these cards and multiples. All right. So what you're now going to have is 1 etched piece, 1 middle piece. Let me take the tape off. And 1 large opening. So you can use these in so many different ways. So if we kind of use this as a guide, you have a couple of dimensions here, maybe like 2 to 3 layers. So if I had a card base, for example, I can not use this, but then use this piece here. And then I can cut maybe a smaller piece inside or use one of these. So I can just do a bunch of different things. I'm trying to think what I would like to do. I kind of like this, and I want like another piece right here. So I'm going to cut, yeah, I'm going to cut that piece in white. And what you could do, since I don't like this one, I'm actually going to cut out the piece in the middle, and then I'll have another framed piece that I can use for a different project. And this can actually get your creative juices flowing to maybe inspire a 4th card that's not even on the inspiration sheet, right? This is what I love about crafting, when things just come together, just ad hoc, when you least expect them. That's when you have a lot of fun and time just seems to melt away hours and hours later, and you're just still having fun creating, right? Okay, so again, I'm going to set this piece to the side to use on another project, but you can see it's a cute little frame. You can use this for scrapbooking as well, to frame a picture. So lots of things you can do with that. I like this piece here, this inside piece. And you can see there's actually a little etched frame. I don't know if you can see that. There. So that I like. So if we then take these pieces, we now have the workings of the background. And look how simple that is. Just using the same color, you can create a really sophisticated look with that and just some foam tape and popping it up. And then when we start to put the flowers together, we could then orient it and see whether we want this tag or we want this tag. And I thought I'd do it in a neutral color like the craft paper, just to kind of ground it a little bit. I like that. All right, so I'm going to now start to glue all these flowers together, and then we're going to assemble all the pieces. Yay, now we're ready to put everything together. Look at how adorable these flowers are. I mean, these are just so cute. I can just see myself, like, if I had a bunch of different papers, maybe like pinks and purples and all the different colors, and just sitting in front of the TV, just cutting a whole bunch of these and just gluing them together, and then storing them in like a craft stacks box, and then just, you know, coming together for a project at some point later on. Yeah, I love those. And I also die cut a couple of the leaf sprigs from the same set as the flowers. And then I had some left over from the other card that I might be using too. I like how this orange kind of pops off of the teals and the whites as an accent color, so I might even go there and use that as well. Okay, so let's start with card number 2. And I'll move this one out the way along with the thanks tag. And I wanted to use a sentiment strip for this one, and I'm going to go into my little jar or my little dish of different sentiments. These are some of the better press sentiments. I think this one's Always and Forever. I can't remember which one, but there's a few of the sets there where you press all of the sentiments together at once, and then it has one die that actually cuts all of them out at one time too. And it's really convenient because then you can just have these sitting and standing by. So I think we'll just draw a sentiment from here after we're done. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is start to design my base here. So in order to do that, like I mentioned before, you want to take a die that's slightly bigger than the one you have, or if you don't have it handy, you can still use this one. So what I'm going to do is center this, and this is the card base that I'm centering it on, and then take a pencil and then just draw around it. I'm going to give myself some margin. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to have some space around it so that you have a sense of where you are. Okay, so you don't have to over decorate or under decorate. I mean, you want to make sure you start from the center and work your way out to the edges in terms of laying out the flowers. And they don't have to be like so tight that there's no white space. I'm okay with little white space, but I'm probably not going to use these white flowers for this one unless I then overlap them a little bit just so that the white doesn't disappear, you know. I also made some tiny ones to kind of fill in the middle. So I will play around with these. And because I alternated the colors and just use random combinations, it makes it easy to just spread them around. I love these colors. So pretty. I am going to start to bunch them together a little bit in the center. And it's a shame that I don't have any glue underneath them. But I really want to get a sense of how I'm going to do this before I commit with the glue. So I definitely want to play around with it first. And then find my way there. I want to also make sure I spread them out a little bit so that I'm not using all of them up because I didn't cut that many. Maybe that's a lesson for next time to cut like double what I'm thinking because I wanted to leave some, maybe 4 flowers. Let me put those aside now for the other design. Use those. Okay. And if you don't have as many, the other thing you could do is make this smaller. Oh, I like that. I kind of like that with the white space. That's okay. I really do like that. You can also add some ink blending to put some color in the background if you wanted to, from like a 3rd color. But I like this whole dynamic here of a spray and there being some white space. I'm really okay with that. And I have the spray going down. You can just keep checking in to see if it's something you like. And then I've noticed too that I don't need that one. So I can move it over here. Ooh, so nice. I actually really like that. And then when you tape it down, you can pop some up with foam tape and then really layer it, right? And then this is going to be layered with foam tape as well, so it gives it a little bit of room to breathe, so to speak. So I'm going to actually start gluing some of these down. This is going to be a little tricky because I don't remember sometimes what I do. So I want to make sure I don't move things over too much. This I can put down. Oops. I'm gonna get foam strips. We have those in the shop too. And the nice thing about foam strips is that you can cut them down. They're already narrow. So when you pop them up, it's very easy to cover a wide part of the flower without without it peeking out. My nails are not cooperating today. Okay, I'm so pleased with this. You can also add like some sequins if you wanted to run out the space and put a little sparkle or bling on it. You can put some stickles in the middle. That I'm going to actually do. But what I need to do now is put my piece on, my frame piece, and I'm going to need my Altenew roll of foam tape. And then what you can do is just get around the edges. Is anybody getting a shaker card vibe right now? I am. Okay, now I want to carefully lay this down so that it's straight and centered. Oh, wow. This is so pretty and so professional looking. Can't believe that. Love this. Okay, I'm getting excited. Now, let's see. We want to add our sentiment. This is pretty much done. Simple, beautiful, elegant. All right, let's see what we got. Congratulations. That's a nice one. Love you always. Oh, that's really nice. Just saying hello. What do you have? A hello one. Love you. Happy anniversary. Oh, that's a nice one for someone. I'm going to use congratulations. Yeah, I like that one. And I mean, if you make a bunch of these, you can just keep them blank and then just have them in your stash. So when you're ready for a card, you don't have to worry about getting something with the right sentiment. You'll already have just a bunch of blank cards and you can add a sentiment. Now, because this is something that's already raised and this part in the corner is not, I'm going to put a little foam tape on the left just to even it out. Actually, I put the liquid glue on this side and it can float. Take the backing off of here. That would be helpful. Hey, my nails are not cooperating. There we go. All right. Beautiful. Now for the finishing touch, I'm going to add a little bling with some Stickles glitter glue. And don't want to miss this one. That is so pretty. I love how this card turned out. I think this is going to be a mass-produced card. This is simple enough to do. I just have to spend the time, you know, making all the flowers, but it's so worth it when you look at the end product, right? All right, so that's card number 2. Let me put this over on the side to dry. Now, last card. If you remember, this is the inspiration for the last card. We had like a mounted frame in the middle, white on white, and then just a little cascade of flowers, like a mini bouquet, if you will, with some greenery and then our sentiment. So we already started off with these pieces, right, that we cut, and we have the tag for the middle. So now we just have to anchor these with foam tape. Okay, so we have this piece ready. And what I like to do is I usually craft sitting down, but when I want to align something like this, I prefer to get up, stand up into like eyeball it better. Make sure it's straight and centered. Okay, I love that texture. Now we're going to do the same for the middle piece. Very nice. Now I want to start looking at how this bouquet is going to look. So I'm going to start with some of the greenery. And I can even use this piece because I have the craft color in the tag. So we'll include that. And let's see. I'm trying to create like an overall pattern. See how that looks. And now I'm going to put these flowers in. Maybe I should put this one up top because it's darker. And then, do I like that? No, with this on top. Yeah, that's pretty. And then I can slip this tag under here. Don't want to hide the greeting. Oh no, it's sticking to my fingers. And maybe move that up a little bit. And then add this one, a little floral. I'll have to figure that one out. But I like this. I like where these flowers are going. So I'll have to now glue this down. Tuck this under. Come on, come on. And there you have it. What a beautiful card. I have to say, I haven't had this much fun in a minute, kind of designing different cards, because sometimes, you know, life just gets so busy and I just don't feel creative. Like I want to be creative, but I just couldn't get myself in that space. And I'm so glad I had that inspiration sheet to kind of guide me. Let me put this in the middle along the way. So there you have it. There are the 3 cards for World Card Making Day. I hope you enjoyed this session. Please like, subscribe, and share. Come back to it. You know, use it as a reference point. If you're feeling in a creative slump, come on back and make something else. But I hope you enjoyed it and that you'll check out the other videos that we have in the YouTube channel and the Craftique Studio. Have a good day. Thanks for stopping by. Remember to like, subscribe, and share.